It's 8 o'clock, and as I promised, I'm about now to link up with our beloved brother, and he's just saying almost there. Oh, let's try and see if he's almost there. Still ringing, as you can hear. Hmm. He's on. He's on the line. Okay. I will call him back in the next couple of minutes. Oh, right. He's just answered. Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. You're late.
Oh, no. Just by 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's too late, bro. The ship almost took off without you, bro.
Should we cancel?
No, it's okay, mate. It's okay. How you doing anyway?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. Welcome to the show. It's a Hope and Heart Surgery with yours truly, Dr. H, in the house. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, is the one and truly and only truly Wakash Ali. I always says he's not the cousin or the brother of Muhammad Ali, but he's some Lee somewhere along the line.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good show today.
It's excellent. The very fact that we can link up and we can talk and we can catch up on, history, and what's going on presently in your life and how is it going over there in Bradford. I mean, why Bradford? You know what I mean? Why move to Bradford?
Bradford, well, it's just where I've come. I've studied here. I think I've got some good news, good and bad news. I think this has been a long time coming. It's almost been 5 years since we've last been on air.
That is true. That is true indeed. That is true.
With Bradford, I study here, and just decided to move here. Everyone's nice. Big shout out to the brothers here, and the sisters. That everyone's really nice, and just to change the scenery. It's like yourself. You've moved from Manchester to Scotland.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, of course, yeah. We've both made the journey out of Manchester, haven't we?
That's it.
Yeah. So how's the weather over there? I mean, I know it's a bit blustery and windy over here in Scotland, as is not no surprise to the family that is listening.
Yeah, that is the same here. That I think it's windy here. I think they're saying I think last a couple of days ago it was Storm Eunice, and now I don't know which storm it is, but we do have winds, and it was actually also snowing as well last night in Bradford. I don't know if it was snowing in Scotland, but it was snowing here.
Well, okay, that's kind of a bit surprising because I mean, up here where I am in Addington, it wasn't snowing. Well, I'm not suggesting that it hasn't been snowing on the higher hills because obviously because of the drop in temperature, obviously there will be snow. But I can guarantee you, when I got up out of my bed this morning, look around my bedroom, there ain't no snow in there, so it ain't snowing. Okay. So, we've not actually seen face to face. We're not being, bodily in the same area, same space for a long time. What have you been what have you been doing with yourself? I mean, I know you've had some amazing ups and downs, and you've had some amazing stories. So we're here to hear it.
Yeah, well, it's one of those. The good news, I forgot to mention, I've actually passed my degree that year.
Well done, man. Well done.
Finally, become a dispensing optician. So that I think that took a lot of effort and dedication, and I think obviously everyone's been affected by the elephant in the room, the COVID as well, the
Right.
coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
and that obviously changed everyone's life. I've had, a lot of things that have happened since then as well. That's the good. The bad is unfortunately I've got a disability now. So the last time you saw me, I was okay. I was able, but now I actually have psoriatic arthritis,
Okay.
and I do a lot of physiotherapy. I take medication.
Right.
At one point, I was diagnosed last year. I couldn't move at all. I suffered from a lot of fatigue. I was unable to walk more than a few steps whilst being in pain.
Okay.
Still, occasionally, it happens, but it's more the medications, thankfully, it's kicking in, and it's helping me regain some sort of ability. But I'm looking to be put on some more medication soon, so God willing, that will help as well.
Okay. So how is your mobility now? How is your like getting out of the house or moving around the house? Because I know you drove before and you drive. Do you still drive?
Yeah.
So you still.
Yeah. I mean, driving's not too it's not too. It doesn't take too much of a toll on my body, but it's more when we did security. Big shout out to the Man United staff. That we know the team that we used to do 12, 13 hour shifts,
Yeah, I remember the
and
days. Yeah.
I just yeah, that's it. That I wouldn't be able to do that, or whenever we used to go to Rainbows in Manchester,
Play
you
snooker.
remember when I used to beat you a few times at pool, isn't it?
Well, you know what?
All that standing.
You know what? You know what? Confession is good for the soul. And we're not going to tell the people all the truth. You know what I mean? But we can tell them some of the truth. Yes. You did beat
Okay.
me. You did beat me sometimes.
You Sometimes, yeah, you know what? It was 50-50, but I had a bit more of an edge. But yeah,
Okay. Okay.
but even doing the pool,
Hmm.
Dr. H, doing the standing, how we used to stand around that table, I
Right.
just couldn't do. Now I'd say it's probably 50-50. I'd probably have to sit after our first match,
Okay.
or something that is not, how I was. I'm not quite there, and truthfully, I've spoken to my doctors, my rheumatologist. I don't think I will be how I was, but that's just accepting that it's happened. And I know within this there's a blessing as well. Obviously, we get tested. We know that it's a part of this life. It is a test, and we get tested in different ways and different to other people.
Mhm.
So this is, my test, and but I'm hoping, to become a bit more better, and then maybe explore in my poetry about the struggles and the tribulations and the discrimination disabled people face as well.
Okay, so you're talking about a quite a wider range of um, experience that you are experiencing now, of which you wouldn't
Yeah,
have experienced before if you didn't, if you weren't challenged with a physical, I wouldn't say a physical disability to the extreme, but a disability nonetheless that would restrict you from being or operating in 100% capacity. So you've
yeah.
seen it from a different perspective now, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. I think, for me, with because it's arthritis, it's quite severe. But
Mm.
for me, I can only speak about my disability. For me, and the medication, there is a way for me to become more mobile, to become more able. But that doesn't mean I'll, become like I'll mask it or I'll deny what it is. It's become a part of me. It's a chronic condition,
Right.
and it's happened, due to stress. I don't know if you remember, I had psoriasis,
Mm-hmm.
and just due to the stress, my psoriasis actually spread, and it's manifested into this.
Okay.
And every day is a different challenge. But with the medication, I'm able to come back. But I do know of other people who might have different disabilities, and there isn't, so to speak, a way back. But they, live their lives fully to the best of, to the best of their ability, and I think it's good inspiration for me to look at as well, and obviously to explore in my poetry.
Okay, so it's what I'm hearing is quite positive because you've not allowed um, this chapter in your life to um, kind of hinder you to move forward into your dreams and aspirations. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be truthful, Dr. H, that if you spoke to me last year when I got diagnosed, you wouldn't be hearing this. I think, with time, with help, with support, a person's able to accept and to see things differently. But obviously, there's ups and downs. There were days where I couldn't move. There were days where I literally didn't think I'd be where I am currently.
Mm-hmm.
It's thanks to the medication, to the physiotherapy, to my rheumatologist, to my nurses that I am even where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And them days, they were dark days. I'll be honest with you, but um, it's about believing. I think in the process and trusting that there will be better days ahead.
Right. Because we did lose, if I remember correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. We did lose contact for a long period of time. I think about maybe 6, 7 months, 8 months, where
Yeah,
we didn't talk, and I kind of like sensed that something was wrong. But I kind of stood to the intuition that sometimes people deal with issues according to their capacity. And in that terms, what I mean is sometimes as friends or as brothers to brothers or sisters to sisters or just family members, we tend to take a kind of a different approach in coping with issues, or they would call it coping mechanism. So you would not
yeah,
normally lock your friends away, or you would not normally not call your friends, those who are close to you, for no longer period of time. You would always be on the text or the WhatsApp, or you'd be on the blower, saying hello, how you doing. But as you just said,
yeah,
sometimes we go through that period of alone time. I don't think it would be, you know, professionally to say it's the darkness, but it's that alone time where you and I spend time not only coping with the challenges that we have personally, but also recognizing that we can come through this. And that's quite good to hear that you've taken that kind of approach, because obviously there are brothers and sisters out there who are suffering right now, and you rightly say it, where they have taken the approach to be negatively isolating, if that makes sense,
mm,
where they isolate themselves not only from their friends, from their family members, but even from the possibility of recovering or making a full recovery depending on the circumstances and the extent of their disabilities, if that makes sense.
yeah. It's uh, it's a lot there that I think what it is it's hard. You know, obviously, I'd see a disabled person. Will see a disabled person. We usually think of a person in a wheelchair,
Mm-hmm.
and what I have is like a hidden disability. It was visible at the time, and I think at the time when we weren't in contact, it was more when a person isn't it's hard to describe, but when you're not disabled, it's harder to understand. It's like sometimes people don't understand racism unless they've experienced it, and I think with disability or with any disability, that it is like you're alone. That there's less people because everyone's born abled. This term I didn't know, wasn't it, abled or ableism, and it's sometimes it's not because of a lack of empathy, but it's more of a lack of understanding, because if you've not got the similar condition to the person,
right,
it's harder to relate to, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
And I think, with other people who have, other conditions, how you were saying about recovery, it's definitely I can emphasize for anyone who's gone through tough times, who's
Wakash, you break. Okay. You're kind of breaking up. I'm
not breaking up.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Am I clear?
Yeah, you're breaking up in the. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you've
Hello?
Hey, I can hear you. Have you moved your phone?
No, my phone's right next to me.
Okay, cool. I can hear you. Carry on.
Can you? Okay. So, you, I can definitely emphasize with a person who's struggling, and I think every situation is unique, and it's hard. When I was at my most vulnerable, I was on painkillers to try and stop the pain. This was before I was put on more medication, and I couldn't hold the TV remote for longer than maybe 10 seconds.
Wow.
And what is a TV remote? I was in pain just holding it. What is a TV remote? It's nothing. So I think part of it is sometimes the condition itself is debilitating to a person, where it just leaves them isolated. So I emphasize, and I hope, if anyone's going through a condition, dear listeners, that you do seek help. You do, find people, find, doctors and nurses to help you, see if there's any medication can be put on, and, hopefully you can make, a recovery, or, you can try, isn't it? And, live your life to the best. Again, with this, it's changed my perception on a lot of things, Dr. H, where there's things I might have put off before due to, I don't know, maybe I felt like, social, it might not be socially right, or X, Y, Z. As in, I'll give an example where I might have put off going on holiday alone if my friends aren't available at the time. But now I'm hoping once I'm in a better condition, I will go on holiday. I'll go on holidays if my friends, let's say, me and you, I ask you, let's go somewhere, and you can't because you have you have other obligations, that I now wouldn't hesitate to go alone, and to have that experience, because again, it comes down to, I know how difficult it's been for myself, and how just being trapped inside. And I think it's a bit of a similarity, because with COVID, we've all been trapped inside as well. And I think people are ready to go out and go on holidays as well.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I mean, thank you very much for just being transparent. I mean, it has been a rough time for those who have gone through similar experiences that you have had, and obviously other experiences that can be professionally defined as a disability or a challenging condition. All right, because sometimes we we are so quick to say it's a disability. Sometimes it's not a disability, but it's a challenging condition that, as you rightfully say, could propel you or could mature you into areas that you would not normally look into. Because I'm sure you've learned a lot of things. You've matured throughout this past year, alone dealing with the issues that you've dealt with.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This is why I think you should go. You should get yourselves to a doctor, to a rheumatologist. I know my condition. It is. I think people. It is a disability. I think people feel strange, when they hear this word because it's not really common. It's not really. We don't really talk about it, or we might not know someone affected. But I didn't realize there's obviously visible disabilities and hidden disabilities, and
Yeah.
I think arthritis is one of them. Obviously, if someone's in a wheelchair or someone's on crutches, that's more visible. If someone, has like an aid, if they're blind, like if they have a guide dog, that's more visible.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we don't know that there's also hidden disabilities as well.
Right. Right. Right.
And I think over this years, like you said, it's made me aware that there are people who are suffering with chronic conditions,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and there isn't a cure. I mean, for myself, um, there isn't actually a cure, Dr. H, but the medication should hopefully stop the inflammation of my body, because it affects my joints. My own body's attacking my own joints.
Okay.
And the medication that I'm on, and hopefully I'll be put on some more, it will stop the attacking over the inflammation of my joints. But
Right.
I've unfortunately received a damage before I was put on the medication, and that damage is irreversible. But I'm grateful because I'm still able to walk, still able to talk, still able to. I've got my mobility. I can do reasonable things now. So I'm grateful in that respect. I think it's just more highlighting what a condition is, the damage it can do.
Right.
That if I left my condition untreated,
Mm-hmm.
it'd destroy my joints.
Okay. Okay.
I'd literally be immobile if I left it any longer. So I think every condition, there's difference. There's a wide variety of chronic conditions, of disabilities, and I think it's only when a person has it that they start exploring it, they start researching about it, and they start seeing what it is. But I think in the same breath, we're very, as a society, we've moved on. We've become more understanding of these conditions. We've become more aware of these conditions. We have facilities, and I've noticed, I've experienced people. If I do mention it, they do try and accommodate me. If and when. I remember I went to a poetry night, and I was sat down, but the seating was kind of cramped because it was like seats, and you were looking towards the stage, and I had to leave, and I spoke to one of the people there.
Mm-hmm.
I just explained my condition, and they got me a chair.
Right.
And it was nice to be accommodated, because then once I sat in that chair, my legs were more relaxed. I was more open. That I feel with my condition, that if I'm cramped in, that's when my joints feel it the most. I remember I was sat in a chair in a restaurant, and the chair, it was like too small, or I was in pain. There was something not quite right with the chair, and I just asked, one of the waiters for another chair. They obliged. So I think, as people, we are moving on. We are, understanding, and we are accommodating as well. I think sometimes you have to say it, and I think there's a slight stigma attached, Like when I first got diagnosed and first heard about it, obviously, just I felt a certain way. No, not like a bad way, but it's like it just changes, how you see things, how you might perceive it, how you yourself might be perceived. But obviously, people are nice. You speak to them and you explain, and people do understand.
So basically, in my overstanding or understanding, it does have a psychological readjustment to not only,
Absolutely.
yeah, not only to how you now view yourself, and it happens to all of us, but how we view people and how they view us. And it's something that you rightfully explain, where you have to adjust your perception, and sometimes it can be negative if you're not fundamentally rooted in a particularly belief system, or you've not um, brought up or surrounded, for a better sense of the word, by positive people to give you that positive energy that you and I need from time to time. So yeah, I do understand what you're saying, and I just want to say thank you very much for sharing with us, and for being as transparent and open. And it's good because it allows us to understand that people, especially in the 2 years that has passed, that I've not seen yet. You've been through some stuff. I've been through some stuff. I think if we are honest, everybody's been through some stuff, visual stuff as well as eternal stuff. And I just want to say thank you for that transparency as we speak about the realities of life. Life can throw some very
Yeah.
unwelcoming challenges at the best of times. But at the same time, too, it's good to know that you have that positive outlook. And I'm going to suggest that you keep on having that positive outlook, and you do have friends and family members that will be here for you to, assist you, encourage you, empower you, and lift you up when you need it most. So thank you very much, Wakash, for that, simplistic,
Well,
but
thank you, Dr. H, for having me.
yeah, no worries, mate, no worries. So I've spoke to you off the phone, and I'm sure you've had some time to put those bars together. And no,
Yeah.
no doubt you've been spitting spit all over the room by writing them and, and practicing and, and repeating and rehearsing and all that kind of things. And I know the people are wanting to hear what you got to say. So the first poem you have, go for it.
Yeah, I've actually got five poems, Dr. H. I was saying to you on the phone that I've got four, but I've got five today. I think that they hopefully will be insightful into what's happening. I think five poems for the 5 years we've not been on air.
Okay.
that so I'll just get my poems ready.
Okay, what I will do then, right? You can get your poems ready, right? I'll play a track, and then as soon as the track finishes, you can come straight,
Yeah,
right? Okay, no worries.
excellent.
So that was
Thank you.
Wakash. You're welcome. So that was Wakash Ali, one of my bona fide legends. As you've heard, we did a stretch at Manchester United, and when he talked about the years, the hours we spent on our feet, and it's no joke. We sometimes spend 12, 15 hours, depends on our availability and what we were called to do. So we've been through a few things, and obviously it's good to know that he's still pushing through, even though he's been challenged by life challenges. And the story he tells is not a unique story, but it's a story that affects every one of us. We do have our various challenges, and we do have our various misunderstanding, and sometimes the Creator allows us to place us in a particular position that we can gain understanding so we can clear up the misunderstanding. I hope that makes sense. A very good evening to our dearly beloved over there in Kampala, Lydia. See, I've spoken, I pronounced your name right. All right. Very good evening to you, indeed. And to all those who are tuning in, a very good evening to you indeed. It's the Open Heart Surgery with yours truly, Dr. H, in the house. That was the spoken word by Sharon Arvin. All right, Sharon Arvin, and such amazing voice she has indeed. So, and because it's that evening where we are with a lyricist himself. He's just gone up. He'll be back in a few minutes. We're just going through the vibes of you know, just enjoying ourselves and freely expressing the way we want to express ourselves in this afternoon, this evening. Welcome back again, my friend. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, yeah.
Are you good? Are you good to go with your first point?
Yeah. So with this one's called it's called Sin.
Is that
So
is that SIN?
yeah.
Okay, well, okay. Talking about it's amazing you use that word because obviously you've not actually said what your religious background is, and I'm not going to assume that everybody knows it because I know it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that everybody knows it, and obviously because of your name, you know,
Yeah.
question mark. So, what is your religious background?
I'm I'm a Muslim.
Okay,
Um, and that's my belief is Islam. So I think with this poem, there's a few things to it
mm-hmm.
that so I use the word shaitan, which is a word for the devil,
Right.
for Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
I also use the word Kareen, which is what the Islamic belief is we have two angels writing down our good and bad deeds on our shoulders, left and right.
Okay.
But we're born with devils, um, and the devil whispers to our heart to make us do things, to do sin. Um, so that's like I think a bit of a difference there, just to explain that. And yeah, I can't see any more.
Oh yeah,
I think that's it.
that's fine. That's fine, and I just want to let people know, where we stand when it comes on to certain things. So when you use the word sin, again, we know it as stepping outside of the will of God or missing the mark of God or the commandments of God. All right, and you just
Okay.
explain it. So that's cleared up. So go ahead and spit them bars out, bro.
Sure. Okay. My sins have eclipsed the sun, the things I've done. Look at me now and see the shaitan I've become. My Kareen has won, my soul started pure. I darkened it for sure. The first sin to the next sin, my Kareen is under my skin. I followed my desires and whims, my soul darkened, my heart hardened. I wonder if I ask for forgiveness, will I ever be pardoned? My Lord gave me sign after sign. Still I went out all the time, committing sin after sin, thinking I was on top of the world. My soul started to move from its natural position, bowing down in submission, until indeed I became distant, too proud or arrogant to pray. I wake up to a new day, blessings still come my way, but gratitude I do not display. Until to my dismay, my Lord tested me. He took everything away. I wish I had more time to become a pious man. My life has been a sham. Still in ignorance I plan. Yet my Lord plans better. He increases my pressure. My story is one of many I share. Too much despair. But our Lord does not burden a soul with more than it can bear.
Wow, that is such amazing. That is such amazing indeed. And you have just kind of like painted a picture of a spiritual person, and you can correct me
Mm.
if I'm wrong, a spiritual person who have had the free will or the free choice to step outside of the will of God and made that decision to do that, but then has now to bear with the consequences. Am I right?
Yeah, I like that thinking. That wasn't quite how I saw it, but I think I like what you just said. I think everyone, we're all born spiritual, and I think just the world, just sometimes the sin, sometimes if it's not allowed in your faith, or and you go against it, it causes like a friction, like a distance
Okay.
between you and what you should be doing. And yeah, I like how you saw that explanation.
Okay.
That's
So,
good.
okay. Thank you. But I'm more interested in the way you penned it, the way you worded it, the way you expressed it. It took
Mm.
time. It took energy. It took patience. It took your emotions. It took your creativity, your geniusness to put it together. What was you thinking at the time? What was going on with you at the time when you wrote that?
Oh wow, this poem actually is a couple of years old. So
Okay.
I think just it's like there'll be like certain phrases, or like certain like sometimes I think in any faith you have like right and wrong. And there'll be like expressions, or there'll be like sayings in your faith where like in Islam there's like a saying or an expression. I think it's like a hadith of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. But even if your sins were to be as high as mountains, God will forgive you.
Okay.
Um, so like my first line when I say my sins have eclipsed the sun, the things I've done, it was to like use that like saying to say my sins, they've blotted out the sun.
Right.
That
Right.
they've got that high, that I've done so much wrong. It depends again on what your belief is, and it might a person's belief, it might be, you might not perceive it as a sin, but in another person's religious belief it might be perceived as a sin. I'm just giving out, I know it's a bit vague, it's just I don't want to give like too much of a like an explicit example. But I don't know, but like maybe um it's there's like normal, there's like sins that that a person knows are wrong, isn't it? Like a person should not steal. This is, I think, very common amongst all faiths. But a person might think oh no, it's okay, it's acceptable, but then that sin, even if a person of a faith says what, it goes against my faith, like that causes friction because they're stealing.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and you make perfect sense because obviously the way you worded it, the way you phrased it, the way you put it, you packaged it reminds me of also biblical verses that we know as Israelites.
Hmm.
And one of the things you talk about, your sins blocking out the sun. In the scriptures, it talks about our sins being as scarlet or our sins being as black as as night. So yes, when we find ourselves in a sinful position, or when we continue being rebellious, then obviously the light which is supposed to shine within us and upon us refuse to shine, because where there is light, um, light cannot tolerate anything that is anti-light. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so anything that is holy cannot tolerate anything that is unholy. So anything
Yeah,
that exactly, so anything that goes against a particular standard or a particular spiritual discipline will always have an effect in the negative, but not in the positive. So I understand what you're saying, and yes, it's an amazing poem, even though you may have written it what 5 years ago, you say?
no, no, less than that. No, but
Okay,
it's a couple of years. But
okay,
yeah, it's
okay. So it's still relevant. It's still relevant for us today, isn't it?
oh yeah, yeah. It's obviously just more, life got in the way, the studies, um, other things, my disability, COVID. I think everyone sometimes, you want to do something, but sometimes all the pieces might not be there.
Hmm.
Um, but this is a piece. This is why I actually called it sin, and I didn't specify what sin
Okay.
because I wanted it to be relatable to a person. That if a person was to listen to the poem, they themselves might know. Well, we all know what sins we've done. I'm not perfect, and to not explicitly state what it could be, I feel makes it more relevant to the listener.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your point is well taken, and I am pretty sure that our listeners throughout the internet world and obviously throughout the world will do take on board the intention and the expression
Mm-hmm.
that you've just expressed. And it's just a simple um, when one knows to do right and do it not, then obviously there is a lot of um, drawbacks or negativity or sinful behaviors. And with sinful behaviors comes the reward. If you do righteousness, you will have righteousness, and if you do sin, then obviously you will have the sin reward. It's 10 minutes to the hours of 9 o'clock, and again, as you can hear, I have my beloved friend Mr. Wakash Ali, all right, in the studio via the telephone line, and he's here until the hours of, I think, 10. I take nothing for chance now. I mean, anything can happen now. He can be taken away, or I decide to, you know what, see you later. It's all right. But the plan is to be here till the hours of 10. I'm going to play a how would I call this now? It's a poet or poetry with song. All right. So I want you to listen to this. It's from Jackie McClug, and it's an amazing poem. Just take a listen to this. Yes, indeed. It's the Open Heart Surgery with yours truly, Dr. H, in the house. And obviously, we have the one and only Mr. Wakash Ali live and direct. So, what's your next one, Wakash?
Yeah, so this one, so the first one that I performed, Sin, that's actually completed.
Hmm.
I won't be making any changes to that poem.
Okay.
This one's called Skin Deep. So my psoriasis, I've got psoriasis, and it's actually spread.
Hmm.
So I want to give out a bit of a content warning because this will explore like body dysmorphia, and that usually happens with weight loss. But I think if you have a condition that affects you, um, then we can include that as well. I'm
Okay.
hoping within the meaning. So just a bit of a content warning, because um, I'm very transparent with the poetry, and I'm not taking prisoners with this one. When I do release this, it might be slightly different to what you hear, but this was free flow at the time that I made it.
Okay.
So
Do you
this
do,
one's called Skin Deep.
so before you
What's that?
before you go forward? Are you
Mm.
do you feel comfortable um, with this particular poem and the content of it for the listeners to hear?
Yeah, yeah. I think when I made this I think last year or 2 years ago. I think the listeners they'll want to hear this because it's about the the body dysmorphia aspect of it.
Okay.
I feel comfortable sharing, but it might when I do release this, it might be slightly different. Some lyrics might have changed, or some of the lines might have been moved around, but it's I think the message is clear with this one.
Okay.
So it's called Skin Deep. We know that beauty fades, sometimes in unexpected ways, but the beauty within shows regardless. That's why inner beauty is well regarded. In my innermost heart, I thought I was heartless, so my innermost heart got martyred. To wipe the slate clean, I hope my heart has an atom's weight of Dean. My trials and tribulations made my body reject me. My psoriasis spread all across my skin. My test is to find my beauty within. But I hated myself. My trials affected my health, physical, mental, spiritual. So I was left empty. I thought I'd be like this until I was 70. My time is not plenty, and I have no time for an internal enemy. I suffer from an autoimmune disorder, so my time becomes shorter. I wanted a tattoo when I was younger. I've ended up with battle scars. My soul took the blows until my body looks charred. My skin condition is a daily reminder that my beauty within is finer than the most expensive piece of china. I hide my body in designer to blend in, but it's much harder to hide what's on my skin. Stress is a killer, and my body manifested it differently. The life I've had has made me. So when I look at myself bravely. Because of my skin, comments were made, so my mind state swayed. My flakes peel or I scratch them from stress. My nails also become affected, so my inner beauty has to be perfected. My joints also feel my disease. Psoriatic arthritis could be my next test, but this time I will not stress. Because when I stress, I scratch my psoriasis until blood pours. I struggle more. This is why I try and put on my lotions and potions. Sure, my skin will never be silky smooth, but I know every day it can improve, and that contributes to my mood. So any negative assertions will not intrude. I hated myself so much at how my body looks, not understanding that's how my mind corrupts.
Wow, that is amazing. That is such amazing, and it's all through to you, through your own personal experience and journey with oneself and one challenges. Um,
Yeah.
Reading that now, how does it make you feel? I mean, as a person who have experienced it for word for action from discomfort to discomfort. How does it make you feel?
Yeah, it's just writing it down is it's like a relief, because the the reason why my psoriasis spread is because of stress. And
Mm,
this is why I think, when they say stress is a killer, it's so true. And it's about stress management. And I think nowadays we live in very stressful times, and we have stressful lives, but
mm,
sometimes you have to take a couple of moments and try your best to get some stress relief, because when it all adds up, um, it affects you, and it affected me. And when I read this poem, I feel I feel happy in one sense because I've got it out of me.
mm,
And yeah, my medications again, they're slowly working. I still have psoriasis. It's on my my head, my face. But I'm hoping with more medication, it will it will be reduced
mm,
from what it is. And I still, you know, do see, people looking sometimes. I think they don't understand, or it's just something different. So I just try not let it bother me, and I try and cover up as much as I can.
Okay.
um,
Okay. Okay.
with it.
Mm. Can I ask you a question? You know, you pointed out the number one cause, which is stress, and obviously, stress is, I think, from a medical point of view, and from people who have had to go through stress and deal with the aftermath of stress, can obviously agree with what you're saying is true. What do you do to deal with or to combat the issue of stress? What do you involve yourself in any kind of activities to alleviate your stress?
Yeah, yeah. I think do what you love, dear listeners. That at the time when I was going through a few issues, I had my degree, which is stressful itself,
Mm-hmm,
and I had a few other things, like looking for a job or just working.
mm-hmm,
Um, and then COVID, of course, I think that stressed all of us out as well. That is just about doing what you love as a stress relief, and if you can, do go outside, go into nature, go for walks, because that again is a good stress reliever.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you do have methods in place to deal with um, the um, the stress issue presently.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh yeah, yeah. That I think even just acknowledging I'm stressed is a powerful thing, because
right.
sometimes you might be stressed and you don't know. And I think that it adds more stress to a person. But if you're able to diagnose it, identify it, and diagnose it, then it alleviates it as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But I would recommend going out during the day, going out, walking, just open fresh air, go to maybe a park, uh, you know, see some greenery, and just feel the fresh air.
I mean, because where you are in Bradford, there is a lot of amazing places where you can go and sightseeing.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely, absolutely.
okay. That's good to hear. And again, thank you very much for your transparency and obviously your words of wisdom and encouragement as one that's gone through the stages or going through the stages with the hope of a full recovery. And it's so mind blowing because it reminds us again that we all go through various trials. We all go through various challenges. Some of our trials may not be physical, as you alluded to earlier on, and that is the most deadly of all. It's the one that nobody sees. The internal
Hmm.
turmoil, the internal challenges, the internal unrest, or I call it civil unrest. It may be a strong word to use, but it's such nonetheless, because when it starts from the inside, then if not dealt with, then obviously the body, as you say, um, takes on the message that the mind sends, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay, so thank you very much for again reminding us and allowing us to understand that we are human beings and we do have challenges. And I suppose if we look back in history, we can see where we have come from a very long way and how we had to deal with a stressful situation, coping mechanism. And when you went off air a few minutes ago, we were talking about how the COVID and the lockdown kind of brought the whole challenging aspect of stress to the forefront because of the isolation. Some were already self-isolating before the COVID came in, and obviously when the COVID came in, there were certain procedures and policies put in place. It made it more harder for other people to deal with the restrictions, and it resulted in various inhumane actions taken not only towards others but according to the various reports that have been given globally, not only here in Scotland and England, but all over the world. People resorted to animalistic behavior, but also resorted to self harm and unfortunately suicidal um, committals. So for you to be here today to speak of what you've been through is a blessing to not only to myself but to our listeners internationally. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for again being so transparent. It's 9 minutes past the hours of 9, and I'm going to be playing another track. And I'm asking Mr. Ali to stay on board until this track is over. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, here we go. And get back to basics. And that's what we're doing here at the Open Heart Surgery with yours truly, H, and my formidable co-host, Mr. Wakash Ali, in the house live and direct. Thank you very much for taking your time, for listening, and I pray and hope that what we've heard today may be a word of encouragement, something that we can hold on to and press forward with our own personal challenges and our own personal um, self-identity, if that makes sense. So, Wakash, thank you very much again for taking the time out to share with us this evening. I know you've been a busy man throughout these years I've not seen you, and I appreciate.
Dr. H.
Yeah, I appreciate what you've done so far. You've made this presentation such a formidable presentation in the sense of the transparency, the openness, and the realism that you brought, and it's appreciated here. And no wonder it's called the Open Art Search because it's all about transparency and trying to reach the unreachable, trying to reach the unlovable, trying to reach those who think it's all over. But it's not over as long as we have brothers like you and brothers like myself and other brothers and sisters who will be coming on doing their live shows. It's all about empowering people, uplifting people, and encouraging people to press forward from a Israelite perspective in Christ Jesus, from your perspective, your spirituality. So, thank you for taking the time to sit with us. So you've given us two bombshells, all right. I hope the other one is not a Scud missile because if it's a Scud, man's gonna have to
You know
duck.
me, Dr. H. It's no scuds. It's no duds. That is, you know me.
Okay,
We'll
so
be on par of the two previous poems.
mhm. So yes, go ahead
That
and share with us the third one if you don't mind.
so yeah, this I think you know before we went off for a break,
Hmm.
you mentioned obviously with COVID, with what's happened in the world, and with the rates of suicide. So this next poem, again, it's a content warning, dear listeners. That this poem will deal with that theme, and if you are struggling, there is help out there. I know in the UK we have the Samaritans,
Hmm.
and across the world there will be similar organizations to help you. So this one's called Broken Smile. Why break habits of a lifetime? At times, it's the only lifeline for a brother to stay in his right mind. Where I'm from, the sun doesn't shine. Pain is everywhere, but I'm blind. I just see what's mine. I catch glimpses of yours. Sometimes I'm not sure as I see your broken smile and more. When you laugh and crack jokes, trying to hold on to hope instead of thinking about a rope wrapped around your neck. That's why I call and text to see what you up to and check, knowing deep down you could be thinking of death. And it seems like an option when everything is hard, all the mental and emotional scars. I hope one day you can heal.
Wow, that is so amazing. Now, I'm just gonna give this straight out. Yeah, we've not um, we've not had any secret meetings, have we? Where your poems are
No,
concerned. No, okay. We've not had any kind of agreement to tally in our ideas and thoughts. We haven't, have we?
no, no.
Okay, so it is no coincidence that what we're saying now is needed to be heard to the community at large because it's a real issue going on here right now where people are um, turning to the ultimate choice, which they are not given, they're not forced to, but they've made it a choice. And I like what you said about the Samaritans. The Samaritans out there right now are doing an excellent job in trying to marginalize the high percentage of people who are on the verge of ending it all when they could live to fight another day. So what you just said makes much sense because we can say that there are many family members right now who are grieving, for a more balanced word, because of the losses that have occurred due to the cries that have been made in darkness, the desperation that have been made in darkness, the the transparency but not being seen. So ultimately, they choose to end the nightmare or they choose to end the misery um, for themselves, but they've left a trail of dissatisfied, hurt, um, very annoyed, understanding to some degree, relatives and friends behind, and we have to cope with the message that they've left behind, and dealing with it in a way, right, where we have to take a step back and say, you know what, I need to be more observant, or I need to be more visual. I need to understand the signs, the different manifestations of certain um, indicators that would lead to someone or a group of people taking their lives. So what you've just said, it's amazing. It's such, it is spot on, and it doesn't need any more explanation. If I'm quite frank with you, it's amazing because this is what we're living right now. So thank you very much, Wakash. I'm going to play another track, and I'm saying this right. You know something? I'm not surprised, and I'm going to tell you why I'm not surprised. Why we link so much because we used to do it back in the day. You remember how we used to
Mm.
sit and we used to go to various radio stations and we would create a storm and they would throw us out. No, 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 they threw me out. But you know, it goes. One has to learn. You know, one has to learn. That's why we're here. They threw me all the way to Scotland, mate. I said, go to the valleys and the desert and do the work. So we're doing it here. But it's amazing how we've linked. We've not done this for wow. Did you say 4 years? Is it four
Yeah,
years?
yeah, 4 or 5 years. Yeah,
I
yeah,
I
almost. You know, five.
I
Yeah.
look how we click. Look how we're clicking, and we're just relating. We're just being transparent, if that's a better
Yeah.
word. And obviously, what you're saying and what you've brought to the listeners is so refreshing, and at the same time, it's issues that sometimes we don't really want to deal with ourselves, let alone to hear it from somebody else who was tempted and decide. that's not the avenue that they would like to go. So again, thank you very much. I want to play another lyrical prognosis from an artist called Ether Christian, and this one, "It Should Hurt You." That's the title. No, I'm not saying that it should hurt you personally, but that is the title of the presentation. Wow, what a wonderful track indeed. And it is amazing, amazing, amazing indeed. Just reminding us that reality is not as simple and as welcoming and as placid and as chill as it ought to be. There are challenges in life, and some people will just take a different route, a different road, a different idea, a different philosophy, but the end result is still the same. All negativity, negativity, negativity. It's the open heart surgery with yours truly, Dr. H, in the house with my co-host, Sir, the talented Wakash Ali. So Wakash,
Yeah.
what made you start writing? I've never ever asked you that question before. What made you start to write what you perceive or what you go through? What made you start putting it down on paper?
Just I think some people, they're naturally inclined to do things. It's within their disposition, and
Mm-hmm.
just felt like I need to get this off my chest. I need to write. I need to put it down, and it makes sense in how I've put it down, and just it's like a stress reliever, and it's something that I can share with yourself and to our international audience, and just helps me feel good as well, and just to maybe help someone might be going through struggles, and they might not know, but then when they hear a poem or they hear a lyric, they can relate to it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what motivates me to write.
I must say. I mean, and I'm not ashamed to say or bashful to say you are a very talented poet. Do you know what I mean? That goes without saying. And I'm going to say it. Keep on doing what you're doing because you are very, very talented in what you do. And the
Thank
way
you.
you're welcome, and the way you say it, the way you articulate it, the way you say it with passion, with clarity, with clearness, and the transparency does get people's attention. Of course, it's going to put some people's backs up, you know what I mean? But what can I say? You can't please everybody now, can you? Of course not.
So true,
You know what I
so
mean?
true.
So it's good for you to do what you do, and I would encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing because you can reach a massive, massive audience out there who are going through certain things and who are going through certain struggles and would like to be vocal and expressive as you are, but are not given the opportunity. So take this opportunity to do what you do and do it with such confidence and such positiveness and keep it going because it does and it will bear fruit. It will bear fruit. You may not see it now, but it will bear fruit eventually because it's so simplistic but yet so profound and effective. Thank you very much for sharing once again. What's the next one you have? You've given us three cannonballs so far. Um,
Hmm.
what's 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 good cannonballs obviously. But what's the next one you have?
Yeah, I got this fourth one again. So the one that I did previously, Broken Smile, that is complete. I won't be making any alterations to that poem. The one before it, the one called Skin Deep, I will be. So this one's called Rebuild, and again, this is I wouldn't say it's complete. So again, you're going to hear a uncut raw version,
Okay.
and hopefully once I do get around to completing it, it might be different. Again, lyrics might be altered. Where they're set might be different as well. But before I do this poem, I actually want to give a shout out to a good brother in Manchester right now. He's had surgery and he's currently recovering, and he's listening to us. And he's actually a poet himself,
Okay.
and he made his first poem a couple of weeks ago, and it was absolute. The poetry was just it was good. It was intense, and I'm we're planning on recording this poem of his, and I just wish him well. I hope he gets better, and hopefully see him soon. And I'm not going to say his name. I think he might prefer an alias as well, maybe a poetic name. And we'll see if he can figure that one out. But big shout out, and especially to our brothers and sisters in Manchester that are listening as well.
Oh yeah, big
So
big big shout out indeed, especially to those over there in the Mosside area, the Hume area, the Longside area, and all the areas over there. Yeah, very good evening to you indeed.
yeah, this one's called Rebuild,
Hmm.
and I'll just do this. The plan is to become the man. I've been destroyed. Now's the time to build myself from the ground up, from the clay and the dust, just as my physical form was. By my Lord, knowledge I need to absorb to expand my thoughts. Soothing self talk is where it starts, with my pen and paper, or in this case, my phone. I can write my thoughts, feel my thoughts, know that in darkness I can light a torch for visibility, for warmth, for all to see. I will never stop what is within me. Never again will I suppress my depth or settle for less because of time, with a sense of urgency to settle down. First, I'll build myself up from the ground, find my crown before I search for my queen. I'll self talk my self esteem to walk like it's a dream before I complete my dean. I want to refine my half, which I should have done from the start. But life is dark. For me, it had a different trajectory, but I've made peace. My only regret, well, I have many regrets, but my biggest regret is not expressing myself through my art. I gave it up. I never thought I'd return. It caused me harm, but at the time I didn't know better. Now I can write to my heart's content forever.
Wow. Yeah, 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 yeah. That says it, doesn't it? Really. That's a true a master at his craft. When a master can actually say, you know what, I'm going to give this a break, but at the same time too, he can recognize that the power, the vibes, the movements of the expressive energy and the spirit is saying it's time for you to pick up the pen again and write and write and write, and rightly so. It's good that you follow the voice and you're doing a marvelous and a great job indeed. And that again, it's an encouragement for you, for myself, for all those who have started out on a journey and decided, you know what, I've had enough because of maybe personal issues or social issues or environmental issues, whatever the challenges are or was. But then you remind us this evening that regardless of that, we ought to still press forward. And I can remember when we used to meet up and we used to talk and everything, and we used to encourage each other to do the best that we can to master the craft that God has blessed us with, and I can see it's coming to fruition now, where you've actually um, moved forward. You've become more expressive. You become more in depth, and it's a blessing to hear. And I'm just amazed at your maturity. I remember back in the day you were ifing and butting and blurring and ahhing. You know it goes. How we brothers banter with each other. But now you're coming into your purpose, you're coming into your vision, and I'm going to say again, keep on doing what you're doing because it's a blessing indeed for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and with that, I'm going to play another track, and I hope you enjoy this one, and it's called Courage. Eddie Penroll and Courage, and what a wonderful reminder indeed. And thank you very much for taking the time out to stay with us as we press forward to the hours of 10. It's 18 minutes now to the hours of 10, and you are with me live and direct via phone, Wakash Ali. You still there, Wakash?
Yeah.
Oh, good, 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 good. So, what do you think about this guy I was just saying a while ago about courage and the ability to start where you are given the chance to start?
This song that I just played.
Aye.
What do you call it? I couldn't hear it. I'm not too sure why. That
Okay, okay, no
whenever
worries.
you put a song on, I'm unable to hear it. It goes silent.
All right, okay, no worries, no worries, no worries. Okay, so we talked about the amazing talents you have and you are working on. And before I go further, Miss J just from Manchester, um, to say hello, how you doing, and well done, and keep up the good work. So that's her message to you. Um,
No, thank you.
Okay, no worries, and I'm sure she can hear you and she's appreciating that. And obviously, there are many people out there who do appreciate what you do. Okay, the fact that you have amazingly put such words to paper, how do you come up with a title? Because I'm sure.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
How do you come up with a title for a poem?
How do I come up with a title? Usually they're untitled, but then I think sometimes certain poems, the title just it's ready made, like with Sin, because it was on a specific topic, or like with Skin Deep, because I was talking about my psoriasis, or with Broken Smile, with sometimes the struggles that everyone goes through.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a smile which sometimes people might not be aware of is broken, or like Rebuild in my previous poem, because it's like I'm rebuilding myself from what I'm going through as well. I, sometimes the title it will come instantly, and other times just sometimes I have to think about it and then give it a title. But other times they might be untitled.
Okay, okay, and that makes perfect sense. I mean, obviously, because we sometimes get into the flow of
Mm.
our thoughts and our ideas and our premonitions and revelations, and it doesn't behoove us to stop and let me give this a title. It doesn't. No, this is not the title time right now. This is for you and I to listen. Yeah, for real. You know what I mean? To listen and to enjoy the divine revelation given to us on a particular subject or on a particular matter or through a particular journey that the Spirit wants us to ventilate or to articulate to the masses of the people. Now the time is quarter to the hours of 10, and you've got how many points you got left?
The one,
Okay, go for it,
the
mate.
final one. That with this, there was a point you made before, and I just want to add to it about how you said, we've not talked about this, and we've never done that. It's always live with me and Dr. H on the Open Heart Surgery, dear listeners. I did say in one of our previous secret phone conversations, we should, and Dr. H can attest to this. What I'm going to say is let's do a pre-recording. And Dr. H, being the master of his craft, he said no. That we'll get inspiration. I believe your words were, you'll get inspiration and you'll ask there and then, and we just go with the flow. And I think you're right. We've gone with the flow, and this final piece that I have, um, should be like the icing on the cake, and that's credit to you because you've been with your craft. You've honed it for so many years, Dr. H. I remember, all the radio stations we've previously been on, and now to see where you are, it's like an evolution as well, and I think it's good. So this one, dear listeners, Dr. H, this is, just to tie it all up. It's called Ungrateful. Again, it's faith based. So with this, in the Islamic belief, or what I believe is in the sect that I believe in is that we were all in the soul world. We were all souls previously, and we took a covenant with God. We took like an oath, I believe, to worship Him, and we've been put into this world as a test,
Right.
and to recognize this. So you'll see a lyric there about that. There's another one. So there'll be like, I'll use a term for prayer, maghrib. That's like the prayer when the sun sets, because as Muslims we meant to pray 5 times a day, and the one that I specify is the sunset one. That's because I say demons before this, and we believe that when the sun sets, that's when the demons mostly come out. They come out at night, and we have two angels, which I think that's here, you know, about two angels protecting us, the ones that write our good deeds and our bad deeds. Just to give a bit of an explanation for this, so I'll do this now. It's called Ungrateful. Again, this I probably won't be. This is complete. I won't be changing any of the lyrics to this one. Okay. Why can I not see the blessings around me? My mind state is healthy. I am wealthy compared to those in other countries going through trials and severities. I am blessed in abundance with healthy limbs. So why am I ungrateful to the test life brings? When pre-birth my soul was in the soul world, I took a covenant with you, O Allah, to remember you, and I know I'll be tested. So why do I have thoughts of why have I been selected when I know my trials are to polish me for this and the afterlife, to know wrong from right, to remember you for me will always suffice. So why do I crack under stress and strife and think like demons coming after Maghrib, right? Demons, right? But you gave me two angels protecting me, right? I destroy myself thinking I'm a lost cause, lost in my own thoughts, not aware of the blessings, the power of the lessons. With many situations, you helped with my awareness, show me clarity, but I am ungrateful. That's the reality.
Wow, that's amazing. That is such amazing indeed, and it's all about as you and thank you very much for the warm compliments. Obviously, for those who may not know, we've been doing this for do you know what I mean, years back where we used to go to, well, I used to have my shows at, Legacy, Radio Diamond, and Wakash would be there to accompany me, and we would just do amazing stuff together. And the vibe has always been the same, it's never changed. You could say you would have two student masters at their trade, all right? I'm still learning my mastery, and obviously Wakash is doing is the same. But we've matured. We've come a very long way through many ups and downs and through many disappointments. And obviously, when we desire to do something or we desire to, work on our craft or our skills and talents, then obviously it's all about determination, really. And again, thank you, Wakash, for that kind consideration. We've said this many times. I was never one to sit down and write out questions to ask people. I find that very, very hypocritical, if that's the right word to use. I think for me, if I sit down with someone, as I've done previously with you on many occasions, we bounce off each other, we reason with each other, and we just let the natural flow um, manifest itself. And tonight, I must say, right, this is topped all other nights. with reason. We've not, we're not butted. We've not slide on our words. We've not tried to, skip and dive. We've just kept it real, and it's such a refreshing reminder where we're coming from. And may God give us the grace and favor to continue doing what we're doing as you continue maturing in your field, because you are a phenomenal talent, and I will always tell you that until the day I die, because you can do some amazing stuff with the things, the talents, the gifts that you have in putting words to paper. But I'm not also putting words to paper, because many of us can put words to paper but cannot articulate it the way you do. You understand what I'm saying? It's a craft. It's an art. Um, I remember watching an interview with Bob, my elder brother, before he died, and Bob Marley, that is. And one of the interviewer asked him, "Can reggae music be copied?" He looked with a smile on his face, right, and he said to the interviewer, he says, "Yeah, it can be copied, but it's not the copying, it's the feel." You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's talking like this, these old sensei, it's the feel. Like, like I was watching a movie with what's his name now? What's his name now? Um, it's missed me, right? Enter the Dragon with
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, right? That's it. Thank you. And he was doing a training with his young lad, yeah, his young sensei, yeah, and he was showing him certain moves. So one of the times, right, he asked him to make a move, and he made the move, and he had to slap the boy on his shoulder, on his forehead, and said, "Don't watch my finger, just feel." You understand? So, so what I'm saying is, well, it's true, though, isn't it? So that was Bruce Lee at his best, right? And what he was basically saying, right? Bob Marley was basically saying, people can copy as much as they want to, but the real, genuine students, or the real becoming masters of their craft, is those who feel what they do. And you can say things in such a simplistic format, but you have to feel. And this is what you did this evening. You really placed it out there as a canvas. You painted your words, you painted your feelings, you painted your ups and your downs. Basically, you painted yourself all over the canvas, and it's appreciated. And I hope that we do this again in the near future, and I pray that you continue to do what you do best, and that is such a blessing indeed. And I'm sure those who have listened to us throughout the evening have been blessed and have been favored to hear you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Dr. H, on the open heart surgery. Thank you, dear listeners, for listening. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. I, consider this. There's, so much you just said in it, Dr. H. I think, the energy, that we have. I, didn't know if it would, translate well, over the telephone, because when you're in the studio, and we've been in the studio many times, Legacy, Radio Diamond, and it's easier to see, but for it to translate quite well over a telephone conversation is really good as well. For the future, I'm going to try and get better. I'm going to do more physiotherapy, and then because I've done my degree, I'm looking to hopefully do my pre-reg as well, because
Okay.
Dr. H, you do need your glasses.
Hey, you know what? You know what? You know what? I'm not even gonna go there, Brechin, because I do need a couple new ones. But you see, like how I know that you've matriculated to the higher echelons of classes. I am gonna come to Bradford, right? Not even Bradford. I'm gonna allow you to Fred X them over here to Scotland, and I know they're gonna, for real, and I know they're gonna be rich in good quality. You remember them two glasses I bought from where you worked in
Yeah.
Stockport? You remember? I've
Yeah.
still got them, bro. There's one of them there. I've still got them. It cost me almost 300
Wow.
pound, bro. And
Wow.
I'm really looking forward to them free glasses, actually.
Definitely. This is it. Now, that this is why I'm hoping, I consider this interview like a bit of a life update. I'm not too sure
Hmm.
when we will be doing it again, but it's more concentrating on my physical health, doing the physical therapy, recovering, doing my pre-reg, and obviously becoming a dispensing optician. And Dr. H, we'll hopefully get them glasses sorted soon as well.
Indeed, indeed. Once again, thank you very much for taking out the time out to share your story, to share your journey, and to just bless us with such amazing poetry. And I'm sure, by the grace of God, that we will plan again to meet up. And when we plan again to meet up, it'll be greater than what we did this evening. Once again, Wakash, Mr. Wakash Ali, thank you very much for your time, your talent, and for your words of encouragement, not only to myself, but to the rest of the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye bye. Yes, that was my beloved brother and my friend, and he's off, and I will be catch up with him later on. And thank you very much for taking the time out to share with us the amazing journey we had this far, so far. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor, and let me play you out with an amazing track by Grams Morgan and People Like You. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful start to the week. And remember, you can catch me here again, live and direct, Friday, the this coming Friday, on the. I was going to do something else, but no, I'm going to keep it as it is. Friday at 7 p.m. till 10. May the good Lord bless you. May his face shine upon you and may keep you in perfect peace until we meet again. God bless you.